Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. This week brings along a lot of exciting news. For one, the limited time trial shuffle thing is no more. It got reverted. People can rejoice. But more importantly, and what I'm most excited about, is the fact that Assault is coming back. I adore this event, but if I start talking about it, I will not stop. So moving on. This week we also have breeding with Mythic Verdants and new research. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of the Mythic Verdants and the research, starting with the research that is actually super nice this time around. PG did a good job with what you get from research. Now, of course, research is still very expensive, which sucks, but PG did a very good job this time around. As you can see, they brought along things like rage generation increase, flak tower attack speed increase, lightning tower attack speed increase. So overall, it's a nice set of useful buffs. So at least we don't feel too grouchy when we're spending tokens of research. Overall, it's 165 Vanguard eggs to get all that research, which is around 2.25 million tokens. If you account for the secondary eggs you get along the way, and if you have 0 Vanguard eggs to start. Moving on, let's talk about the Verdant Mythics. They will require 2,750 fragments each, which is around 550k tokens. This is just a quick overview picture of all the pairs for all the mythics in one place, because I know some people like this layout. It was made by Flame. I'll leave the links to her pages in the description box in case you want to check out more of her things. So first we have Garnet. By the way, I'm sorry in advance if I butcher the names. I'll try my best not to. But yeah, we have Garnet, a mythic wind warrior. Breeding pairs are Krasta and Makota. This dragon has a passive that makes it begin with 3 rage and makes it have 100% increased breath damage. That also restores half a bar of rage every time you destroy a tower, so I guess it's somewhat similar to Calivor's passive. It also has Autumn's End, which is the first 4 rage spell in the game, red, and it fully heals the dragon and damages all nearby towers and gives a brief duration of invincibility and has a long cooldown. I imagine 30% of modified HP for a warrior is quite significant. I don't know if it's a nuke type spell or not, to be honest, but a full heal and invincibility is pretty significant. Then we have Autumn's Edge, a white rageless spell that from the description is based on spell flux. I find it interesting that it can be casted twice before going on cooldown. Lastly, we have Reaping Roar, which freezes towers and damages them and makes them take increased damage, which I guess kind of functions as a debuff. Overall, I see an interesting concept, but I'm not sure how well it would actually fare against real bases, because the cooldowns are quite long and he looks very rage intensive. So is this a dragon I would fly against defended bases? Probably not. Undefended, maybe he'll get through, but he'll struggle most likely. He is useful for the perch though. I have wind gear and I have been waiting for a mythic wind warrior since Obsidian. Anyways, let's move on to our next mythic, which is Silix, a mythic earth hunter. Breeding pairs are Karian and Sephith. This dragon is intriguing. It is not your typical hunter in my opinion. I'm interested to see how it's gonna fly. This is the one I'm going to be getting, this breeding. If you guys want footage, let me know in the comments. I'd be more than happy to post flying videos. So looking at the spells, we have Paralyzing Hex, a white 1 rage spell that is a tower targeting spell that, judging from the spotlight video I've seen, can very comfortably, at the very least, target 3 towers. It deals 16% of modified HP to whatever towers you target, as well as freezes them for 3 seconds with a 4-second cooldown. Now, I would say this is somewhat comparable to Wake on Calivor. Wake does less damage though, only 10%, and it freezes for slightly longer, 3.5 seconds. Then we have Runestorm, which is almost identical to Deflecting Gale with just some parameter changes, like a slightly shorter duration and a much shorter cooldown, as well as a higher value for the modified HP, but I think overall it'll balance out to be around the same just because of base stats of Invokers versus Hunters. Now, this spell is red, so I imagine you can probably use it regardless of whether or not a red mage is actually up. But for it to actually do damage, you'll most likely have to shoot down the red mage. We then have Enfeebling Hex, which is pretty much a debuff. It is a passive. It causes towers to take 100% increased damage from all sources. I guess it's a kind of marking spell like that of Pathox, for example. Lastly, this is an interesting one. We have Runic Scales, a white resist that toggles, so no rage cost. It switches between Beam Resist and Howitzer Resist, which is the first time we see a Howie Resist. It restores 0.25 rage each time, and 4.5% of Dragon's modified HP, has a 1-second cooldown. Now, the HP restoration really is not much. It is even worse than that of Medusa's, and we all know how bad that is, or at least those that are near endgame know. So, bottom line is, don't rely on that heal. I think the basic idea of this dragon is basically don't get hit. Those that have flown Morak probably have some kind of practice in not getting hit. Due to cooldowns and Silix being seemingly rage intensive, I think this could be a tricky dragon to fly, but might be good in the right hands. I'll test it out. I don't know if I'll have the patience for him, but I'm intrigued. Last but not least, we have Lupin, a mythic fire sorcerer that just makes me sad because it reminds me of Remus Lupin. My fellow Harry Potter fans will relate. His breeding pairs are Rosize and Montague. There's a lot of fictional character reference in this one. Romeo Montague, anyone? Moving on. For our first spell, we have Rolling Thunder, which is essentially Death Gaze, but you get 2 costs before it goes on a 4-second cooldown. It is white. It costs 2 rage. We also have Stormcloud, which is a passive. It is a summon that deals damage and absorbs 35% of all incoming damage, as well as gives you 75% of passive increased rage generation. We also have Flashfire, which is a damage / freeze / debuff kind of spell. The damage it does is probably not that huge. It's only 4% of modified HP. Freezes towers for 3 seconds and makes them take 50% increased damage from all sources. Lastly, we have another passive that functions like Steel Essence type spells. Destroying a tower restores 1 rage and gives you Thunderous Shield, which is a white rageless invincibility shield that lasts for 4 seconds, and once it expires, rage marks are applied that give you back 0.5 rage per tower destroyed. Afterwards, there's a 3-second cooldown before you can get another one of those shields. Looking at the spells, this is by far my favorite, and I wish I could have gotten him, but I'm not willing to switch paths. But I think they did a really good job on this sorcerer. We all know sorcerers usually are lackluster, but I think this is going to be quite powerful. We essentially have a Death Gaze. We have a summon that helps mitigate damage you get, as well as gives you rage regeneration, as well as a shield that gives you invincibility and gives you rage marks. And we also have a freeze and debuff spell, which overall I think works very well together. I would have loved to fly this, but unfortunately, as I said, I'm probably not going to get him. At least I won't get him at a relevant time. And if you use auto battle, you can just have it on while you cast spells, and it would just swipe to give you some extra sorcerer swipe attack damage that most people don't actually use. But you know what? It might help a little bit for this dragon. Overall, I'm interested in the mythics that PG put out for Verdants. I hope they're as good in practice as on paper. And with Assault this week, I'm just overall super excited. I just wanted to give an overview of everything happening this week, hence this video. As always, if you like what you see, please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, spread all around, let me know what you thought down below. Let me know what you'd like to see. There are 2 videos I am currently working on that should come out later today, tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled. I hope everyone is doing well. Stay safe, fly high, and I'll see you guys in the next video.